Hey, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, I just had my first flight with the Fimi X8 SE 2022 version. That went really well, so I put another battery in it. I've got it fired back up, and I want to take it up and let's just try out some of the various intelligent flight modes, etc. A lot more to do with this drone, but let's just mess around. I got it, like I said, I had one of my batteries from the 2020 version. It's the same battery, got it all charged up. It's on the drone is fired up, the controller's fired up. Let's get this guy in the air and just mess around with some of the you know, it's been a while since I've messed around with the intelligent flight modes on this guy, so I might be a little rusty, but let's give him a shot. Hey, okay, I don't know if you guys just saw it. It was asking for a firmware download. We'll do that later. It seemed to be performing fine the way it was, so when I get it home, I'll do that firmware update. It didn't look like it was anything critical, so let's enter device. And yeah, pre-flight check is normal, and I like that that's what Fimi does. It gives you that, that that the drone is where it needs to be. Yeah, and gives us all return to home height. The critical things that you need to know are right there on that first screen when you fire it up. But let's quit messing around. Let's go ahead and start recording. It's in 4K, 30 frames per second. And let's go ahead and start recording. And I'm going to do, first I was going to say I was going to do a manual takeoff, but you know what? Let's do an automated takeoff, and I think that helps it with precision landing. So pushing the button on the controller right now. Kicks those drones, kicks the motors a couple times. I like how it does that. That kicks the props out. It'll go up 4 meters high here, and you'll see it stop right at about 4 meters. Yeah, 3.9 meters, so yeah. Okay, let's pull it out, and I'm going to do a little bit of a Droney here, but I'm going to do it a different direction. So you're not going to see it on the Action 2 camera, but you're seeing me here. In fact, I'll stand in front of the Action 2. You're seeing me right here. I'm watching the drone drop a little bit. We got a wind coming up, so no doubt that's messing with the barometer. Yeah, there it stopped. Now it's picking back up. That breeze, I think, messed with the barometer on the drone. But let's, I'm going to drop the camera down just a tad and reverse and up now, reverse and up. And there we are over the side of the canyon. Man, it's cool watching that drone take off there. Is that a neat picture or what? Okie dokie, let's kind of move sideways here, and I'm going to kind of get it perpendicular to the canyon, and we'll bring it in here just for a good look. And at the side of the canyon, it's always fun to look at the side of the canyon. You can see, there are what mostly I see nesting in the side of the canyon are ravens, tons of ravens. So yeah, we're bringing it down a little bit to kind of get a look at the side of that canyon. Let's move sideways just a little bit so you can kind of get that look. I always think that's cool. Okay, let's turn it around. Let's bring it back towards us, and we're going to try some of the intelligent flight modes. So full stick forward, pick up that camera just a little. And let's see if I can kind of aim it vaguely towards us, and there we are, full throttle. Slowing it down. And I'm in sport mode, so I apologize. In fact, let's go in and put it in normal mode. We don't need sport mode for what we're doing. I'm going to go into normal mode. Setting failed. Let's try it again. Yeah, I don't know why. Well, let's try smooth mode. Turn on sport mode. Yeah, so maybe I didn't have it in sport mode before. Smooth mode, it says. Okay, well so we had a little confusion there. Let's see what it says. Let's go full stick forward. I'm telling you, that ain't smooth mode. That baby is hauling the mail. There's that 18 meters per second I was looking for before. So let's go back into that menu. Yes, that was weird. And you're going to see in the menu. Look, it says smooth mode. So let's just click on sport mode. Setting failed. Setting failed. I don't know what's going on there, guys. I can't, so now I have it in sport mode and I can't take it out, even though it says smooth mode. Well, let me see if I double click on that. Well, we found our first glitch. Yeah, it's not letting me change modes now, but okay, so we are truly in sport mode. That was kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting. I'll have to mess around with that some more. That's definitely a glitch in the firmware of this drone, or in the app, I suppose. Okay, let's bring it back to us. Yeah, I'm going to kick that. You're going to see this guy just haul. I'm watching it above me, man. It is hauling the mail. You know, when I was flying it earlier and I thought it was in sport mode, I thought, oh yeah, it's not as fast as what I remember. And yeah, clearly that's the case. Shoot. Let's bring it around here. Bring it back to us. So, sorry for, I hope you didn't mind indulging me there for a second on the modes on this guy. So let's bring it in close to us. And let's see if when we try some intelligent flight modes, if that kicks it out of sport mode. Wow, I mean this thing, let me tell you what, in sport mode, this thing is, yeah, it's pretty stout. Okay, let's, I'm going to click on that little, what looks like, you know what, I see an icon there that I don't know what it is. We're going to click on that first. See on the right-hand side, the bottom thing that looks like a gimbal. Let's click on that. Setting failed. So I'll have to look and see what that is. That's something new. But we click on that little Android-looking thing there below that, and that will take us into the different flight modes. So what the heck? Let's start. Let's give it a good one. Let's start with a spiral. And let's see, set the central point. Yeah, you have to remember how to do this. So I got to move it over the top of me, I believe. And then, so I click OK, and then I move it away. Oh, okay, no, I was wrong. So you got to tap there. So, like I said, it's been a while, so or this may even be new because I don't remember this. So we're going to tap right there. It says tap. Please fly. Oh, to the top center. Okay, I can't read, guys. Yeah, so I was right. You got to fly to the top center. So there's the center. So I was right. So setting center, clicking on that, and then I got to move it away. And you have to move away at least 5 meters. I think I remember 5 or 8 meters. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, 5 meters. So let's start there. That's pretty good. I don't see anything here that's going to cause us a problem. And yeah, let's click next. And oh, we can set the clockwise. So we're going to go clockwise. I'm going to turn on auto return. It'll come back to its starting spot. And we can set the radius. We want the radius out there a ways. Yeah, this is going to be a big one. 90, almost 98 meters. We're going to click go. And yeah, it's taking it a second. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, and it's moving away and it's raising in altitude. Now what I didn't notice is if it shut off recording and started it again, or if we're still recording into the same file. But this is the same thing as a helix that you would find on a DJI drone. The drone is literally moving away from us, raising in altitude, and doing an orbit at the same time, and it's doing a pretty good job keeping us in center of frame there. So yeah, that's what you want. And you know, in a place like the canyon here, I always think that it's pretty spectacular because you see the drone goes over the top of the over the edge of the canyon, etc. when it's doing it. So that's kind of fun. So it's still flying. And there, I think it ended, and it's moving back to its starting position. And let's see when it comes back. Let's see if it stops recording. It's almost back to us. And yeah, okay, so the beep tells us it's finished, and it did stop recording. So okay, let's go back into that menu again, and let's just do an orbit. Well, let's start with a Droney. What the heck? So yeah, they have two different kind of Dronies. They have an invert, which is a traditional Droney. So let's do that one. Make sure the target is in center of view, and then it's just going to fly up and away. And medium is the highest setting, so that's okay. And please drag a rectangle. So here it is actually where you drag a rectangle. So drag the rectangle around myself. We're going to click next at the top there, and let's click that speed up pretty quick. Let's have it crank right along. And flight distance, let's have it go out there. Let's have it go out there over 100 meters. So this is going to be a long one. Turn on auto return, and we're going to click go. And it's counting down for us. And there it goes. So this is what I'm telling you about this being a full-featured product. It has all of those features, those kind of things. And in fact, there may even be more options available on them than we do see on a typical DJI drone. So yeah, we'll just, after we're done with this, we'll try the rocket next. I'm kind of anxious to see how that works, and see if we can just click on where it says invert there in the bottom right hand side of the screen. I'm wondering if I can click on that, and it's coming back to us. It'll tell us when it's done. I'm wondering if I can click on that and it will, yeah, see, look at that. There's some intelligence in this drone. I'm telling you, it found us immediately. Yeah, they've definitely made some improvements to this guy, for sure. And we should get a beep that tells us it's done. And there it is. Okay, so yeah, that little invert disappeared. So let's go back in that menu again. Let's click on Droney again, and let's do a rocket this time. And you have to select the target, and okay, we're going to do that. Drag a rectangle. There's that rectangle. And will it give me any options here? And it does. So flight speed. So we don't need to go real high on this one. We're going to turn that on. 3 meters per second is probably plenty on a rocket. So let's click go. And it should start recording. I notice it takes it a second to send the command to the drone. And then you'll see it. Well, no, something didn't go right here. Okay, let's click go. Yeah, for some reason, it's not taking that. I wonder if it wants me to mess with that a little bit. Okay, we're going to do it one more time. Click on that go. Flight height is too low. Okay, so let's go up a little higher. Okay, so if I'd have been paying attention to the screen, I would have seen that. So let's click go. There, it took it. I didn't pay attention to how high we were. Maybe it needs to be over 10 meters high, or 5 meters high, evidently is what I'm guessing. But it'll go over the top of us and then go straight up. As you can see, it's keeping the camera right on us. Yeah, it's not taking off for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why it's not. It's right above me. Oh, there it goes. Okay, it just took it a second. Yeah, and it's looking for me. Yeah, it just took it a second to complete that. That was a little bit weird. It was kind of hovering there for a while. Kind of made me a little nervous right over the top of my head. And yeah, now it's coming back down. So, and we told it to return to its spot. So we'll see if it does that. Like I said, a little nerve-wracking here. Yeah, there it says it completed it. And I don't know, maybe I didn't flip that switch to tell it to return to its spot. So I'm backing it up manually here. And let's pick that camera up. Okay, there we are again. Let's go back into that menu. And let's do an orbit. Let's look at some other things down here. There's course lock, fixed wing, SAR. We'll look at that in a little bit. Let's try an orbit here. And yeah, so you have to set the central point and then the radius. So I think just like we did with the when we did the spiral. So fly over the top, setting the sensor. So I'm not going to move the camera. I am just going to move it over the top of me. Generally over the top of me, setting sensor, and then radius. You're going to have to go at least 5 meters, and I want to go a little higher than what we are too. Let's get a pretty good radius here, and I'm going to pick that camera up just a tad. And okay, so 38 meters. Heck, let's even go a little further than that. I want to be out there a ways. See if we can get some dramatic over the side of the canyon footage here. So we're going to do a great big orbit there, and that's me adjusting the camera. So I'm center of frame, setting radius, and then we wanted to go fast. I'm going to crank this thing up to 9.6 is the top. Again, we're going to go clockwise. I need to set the heading to center. I've made that mistake before. If you set it on free, you have to adjust the direction of the camera yourself. So we're setting it on center. We're going to click go. And it should start recording. I believe. It didn't. So we're going to start recording. So remember that on the orbit, you need to start the recording yourself. So that's those kind of things that you have to watch out for on a drone like this. But the reason I wanted to get out there a ways is this very reason. And really, I kind of wish I was out there a little bit further so that we could would have got a better look over the side of the canyon. We're at 42% battery, so let's see. Maybe what we'll do is we'll just try a little bit of tracking, and then we'll call it good. But now the next thing I'm wondering is if I have to manually stop the orbit. Yeah, you do. It will just keep orbiting. So we're going to let it get out over the canyon, and then we're going to stop it. And I think I can just click that X in the bottom there, the bottom right. Click OK. And the drone is now hovering. Okay, let's bring it back to us. Let's do one more thing. Let's go in and see if let's try that speed, the flight mode again, and see if we can change. Setting failed. Setting failed. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what's going on with changing that the speed setting, but setting failed. Yeah, that's just not working. So, okay, that's all right. We don't need to worry about that right now. Let's bring it down to us here. And I'm going to have it fairly high because there is some terrain here. It took it a while to stop there. Drop the camera down, back it off just a little. There you can see me. Okay, and I don't know how close it has to be for tracking. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've done it. But let's go again. Again, we're going to click on the little Android looking guy, and we're still recording. And we're going to go into Smart Track, and I'm going to do trace. And what trace means is that it will go behind me. So drag a rectangle around the subject, open area, yep, okay, we know all that. We're gonna click OK. Rectangle around the subject. And it should have me, yep, and we're gonna click go. And I'm gonna go on a little walkabout here, folks. And let's see if the drone will follow us. And it is. So, what I'll say about that is Autel could probably learn a thing or two from Fimi on active track. Now you can also put it on profile, and if you do that, the drone will always stay on whatever side you set it on. Okay, let's turn around. Let's see if we can back the drone up, and we can. I'm watching it back up. Well, sort of. It's trying. Yeah, not really. No, it's not. Yeah, it doesn't really want to back up. So I'm going to go to this side. So there, I guess that's a little bit of a flaw in tracking there. It didn't want to back up. And I've seen this before. See how that square is getting smaller? As I walked under the drone, it got smaller. So we're going to walk down here towards the edge. And it's following us just fine. Again, this drone has no obstacle avoidance. So if there was a tree in front of it or something to the side of it, a building or anything, it'll just crash right into it because it does not have any kind of obstacle avoidance. But look, it's following me. I'm was kind of in the shade there for a second. Man, it's right there. I'm saying that's successful. Well, we're down to 30% battery. So I'm going to get back up by the camera here. We're going to get out of that. Yeah, and it lost me there finally. So we're going to click out of that. And let's pick that camera up. We are going to back the drone up out over the canyon at full speed. Yeah, and it's telling me when it gets to 30%, it's telling me it wants to come home. So we'll do another return to home. Let's do that on the controller this time. So that icon that has the H on it on the very left, click on that, return to home. And here it comes. And let's see if this guy will get a precise landing. So far, so good. And it takes it a while. I noticed it takes it a while to pick up speed when it's in precision landing, in return to home mode. It doesn't just ramp right up into speed. So, yeah, a little over 8 meters per second. Well, it hit 9 there for a second. And that's me dropping the camera as we come back here. And I'll get it looking down. And then again, like I did before, I'll pick that camera up at some point because, yeah, and it's well off of the landing pad this time. Yeah, it's not, I don't think it's going to get it. In fact, we are going to, I stopped landing because I didn't think it was going to find it. Let's get the drone over the pad and we'll just do a manual landing. And sadly, let me pick that camera up. Sadly, wow, the wind picks up just as I'm trying. I mean, a big gust of wind just came up just as I'm trying to land the drone, right? And we're in sport mode here, so let's bring it forward here. And I've told you guys about my depth perception before, so I'm kind of getting to the side here. Let's see if we can bring it forward just a little, and down we go. Well, close enough. Yeah, and it's telling me to charge the battery. So let me get everything shut down and we'll do a conclusion. Again, one of the things I like about Fimi is they stop recording for you when you land. That way you never get a corrupted file. So yeah, let me get everything shut down. Hey, Fimi supplies the Sunny Life gimbal cover now, which is really cool. Goes right over the top. That's simple, and you've got your gimbal protected. Hey, okay, Fimi X8 SE 2022. Man, so far so good. Like I said, I'm really stoked about this guy. $449 on Banggood for this thing, and you can see it's a full-featured product. The only glitch that we found this time is trying to change it between the speed modes. I thought I was in sport mode on my first flight, and then this time I was not. I clicked on smooth mode, and it changed modes, but it changed it into sport mode, and we got the dialog box on the screen. And I remembered just how fast this guy is. It really banked forward, or not banked, but pitched forward, and got moving pretty quickly. So very sporty, quick drone, powerful drone. Again, for that kind of money, it's just amazing, and full featured. You saw all the features on it. You know, we just did a couple of things. We did a spiral, they call it. We did what they call an invert, which is a regular Droney, and then a rocket. We did an orbit. We did tracking. The tracking was good. The only anomaly that I saw in the tracking is I was not able to push the drone backwards, so that was a little bit odd. But other than that, the tracking worked quite well, and that's been my experience with this drone in the past. They struggled when they first came out with tracking, and then they refined it, and it worked pretty good. And so in the tracking mode on this guy, it will do trace, which is from behind. It will do profile, which you can put the drone to the side of you, and if you're walking this way and then turn around and walk back, the drone is just going to stay on that same side. It's not going to switch to the other side as you turn around. That's what profile means. And then the other mode, gosh, I'm trying to remember what they call it, but essentially it's a cameraman mode. In other words, the drone will just hover, but the camera will follow you wherever you go. It'll just keep looking at you. Now, when would you want to do that? Let's just say that you know, you were at your kid's sporting event or something, and obviously you wanted to get where he's at all times. You could have this thing track him. Now, you wouldn't want it over people. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you want it off to the side, someplace where it wasn't over the top of people, but it would, you know, the little cameraman mode would track whatever the subject is. So, you know, that's kind of a cool thing. You know, without the drone moving, it'd just be the drone yawing around and, you know, moving the camera up and down to stay with the subject. So, gosh, you know, we did our Droney. I guess that was about it. I'm, you know, like I said, other than that little glitch on changing speed modes, that's the only issue that I've seen so far. So, man, pretty cool. And there's a lot more to explore with this guy. So we'll, on future flights, we'll check out that search and rescue mode, and then it's got line fly, which is another pretty cool mode on it. Course lock, which is another. Course lock allows you to fly the drone in a direction, and then you can yaw it to point the camera at whatever you want. You know, I'm just trying to think of all the other features that it has, but it has a lot of features. Now, precision landing, I'm not sure if it would have got a precision landing this time or not. It was coming down. I didn't want it to land in the weeds and the dirt here, so I stopped it. And so, anyway, it may have found that at the last second, it may have found the landing pad. The first flight I did with it, first battery, it did find the landing pad. Oh, the other thing is it was asking for a firmware update, so that firmware update may very well correct that glitch that I saw in the speed modes. Who knows? I'll do that. I'll charge it back up and do that when I get home. But yeah, rest assured, you're going to see more of this drone and more of the Snake River Canyon here too. So I guess that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I absolutely appreciate you taking the time to look at this video. And of course, we will see you on the next one. Bye now. Fimi X8 SE 2022. See ya.